What if I told you there's a compound found in your favorite energy drink that scientists are calling a potential key to a longer, healthier life? A nutrient that, when you're low on it, seems to speed up aging, but when you get enough, might just turn back the clock on your heart. This isn't science fiction. This is the groundbreaking research on taurine, and today, we're exploring the science to see if it's really the fountain of youth in a bottle. We all get older. It's a fact of life. But on a cellular level, what does that actually mean? Well, it's a story of gradual decline. Our mitochondria, the tiny power plants in our cells, start to lose steam. Our DNA gets damaged. And these strange zombie cells start to build up cells that have stopped working but refuse to leave, spewing out inflammatory gunk that damages the healthy cells around them. All of this contributes to what we feel as aging: weaker muscles, fragile bones, and a higher risk of chronic diseases, especially heart disease. For decades, scientists have been hunting for the triggers of this process. Then, in 2023, a landmark study in the journal Science pointed to a surprising culprit: a deficiency in taurine. Taurine is a substance our bodies make, and we also get it from food, mostly meat and seafood. The study put forward a pretty bold idea. What if falling taurine levels aren't just a side effect of aging, but a cause of it? The initial evidence was striking. Researchers found that in mice, monkeys, and humans, taurine levels in the blood dropped significantly with age. For instance, they reported that taurine concentrations in 15-year-old monkeys had plummeted by about 85%, compared to their 5-year-old counterparts. In humans, they found that the taurine levels in 60-year-olds were only about a third of those found in young children. This led to a huge question. If falling taurine drives aging, what happens if you put it back? The results of their animal experiments were astonishing. So let's look at the animal studies that got everyone so excited. When researchers gave middle-aged mice a daily dose of taurine, it extended their median lifespan by an incredible 10 to 12%. For a mouse, that's an extra 3 to 4 months of life. In human years, that could be like adding 7 or 8 years to your life. But it wasn't just about living longer. It was about living healthier. The taurine-fed mice showed huge improvements in their health span. They had stronger bones, better muscle endurance, improved brain and pancreas function, and more robust immune systems. On a cellular level, the benefits were just as profound. Taurine supplementation appeared to reduce the number of harmful zombie cells, suppress mitochondrial problems, decrease DNA damage, and even fight some of the consequences of telomere shortening. These effects weren't just in mice. The benefits popped up across species. In worms, taurine also extended lifespan. And in middle-aged monkeys, a 6-month course of taurine helped prevent age-related weight gain, improved bone density in the spine and legs, and boosted their liver and immune health. These findings were explosive. For the first time, it looked like scientists had found a single substance that could seemingly slow down multiple parts of the aging process at once. The results from the animal kingdom were loud and clear. But the big question remained: does any of this apply to us? We're about to get into the human side of the taurine story, including some very recent research that flips the script on what we thought we knew. If you're finding this valuable and want more science-backed health info, take a second to subscribe and hit that like button. It really helps the channel out and you won't miss what's next. So we see these incredible effects in animals, but what about people? This is where the story gets more complicated and where science reminds us that it's a constantly evolving conversation. That initial 2023 study did find a strong link in humans. People with lower taurine levels were more likely to have age-related diseases like obesity, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure. This seemed to back up the animal data. However, science never sits still. A major follow-up study published in Science in mid-2025 seriously challenged the idea that our taurine levels just drop as we get older. This new research from the National Institutes of Health used a smarter method. Instead of just comparing young people to old people, they tracked the same individuals over many years. And what they found was a surprise. In several large groups of people, taurine levels didn't consistently decline. In many cases, they stayed stable or even increased with age. This suggests the link between taurine and human aging isn't so simple. Things like your diet, genetics, and sex seem to play a much bigger role in your taurine levels than just your age. So, what does that mean? It means the fountain of youth idea, while exciting, isn't backed by solid human clinical trials for extending lifespan. But that doesn't mean taurine is off the table for human health. While the direct anti-aging evidence is still developing, the evidence for its benefits on one of the most critical parts of aging heart health is much, much stronger. A 2024 meta-analysis of 20 randomized controlled trials with over 800 people found that taurine supplementation delivered significant cardiovascular benefits. It was shown to reduce systolic blood pressure by an average of 4 mmHg and diastolic blood pressure by about 1.5 mmHg. It also lowered resting heart rate and improved the function of the left ventricle, which is the main pumping chamber of the heart. The reasons for this are complex. Taurine seems to fight inflammation and oxidative stress in our blood vessels, helps those vessels relax, and even dials down a hormone system that can raise blood pressure. In Japan, taurine has been studied for decades and is included as a standard treatment for some patients with congestive heart failure, because it can help improve heart function and exercise capacity. It's worth noting, however, that it isn't a primary treatment in Western medicine, which relies on other proven medications. So, while the jury is still out on whether taurine will get you to 120, the evidence strongly suggests it can help keep your heart strong and your blood pressure in check as you age. With all that in mind, let's get practical. How can you make sure you have enough taurine? The best food sources are all animal-based. Seafood, especially shellfish like scallops, mussels, and clams, is packed with it. Dark meat from chicken and turkey is another great source. If you're on a plant-based or vegan diet, getting taurine from food is nearly impossible since it's almost absent in plants. For vegans, supplementation might be especially worth considering. For those looking at supplements, what's a good dose? Studies showing heart health benefits have used a wide range, from 500 milligrams up to 6 grams per day, with many falling in the 1.5 to 3 gram range. Taurine has a pretty good safety profile, and the FDA has given it generally recognized as safe, or GRS, status. But as with anything, the full picture is important. Emerging preclinical research from 2025, published in the journal Nature, a preclinical study reported that taurine in the bone marrow tumor niche can fuel the growth of certain aggressive myeloid leukemias by boosting cancer cell energy production, glycolysis. This is very early research and absolutely does not mean taurine causes cancer in healthy people. However, it does suggest that if you have or are at high risk for these specific blood cancers, you should be cautious with high-dose taurine supplements. As always, the best approach is to start with a low dose and talk with your doctor to figure out what, if any, amount is right for you. So is taurine the secret to a longer life? The story is more nuanced than the headlines suggest. The dramatic life extension seen in animals is exciting, but it just hasn't been proven in people. The idea that our taurine levels are destined to crash with age has been challenged by newer, more robust human data. However, the evidence we do have is still very compelling. There's a strong scientific case for taurine's role in supporting heart health, with human trials showing it can improve blood pressure and heart function. And it does seem to fight some of the core drivers of cellular aging, like inflammation and oxidative stress. Maybe we should think of it less as a mythical fountain of youth and more as a vital tool for maintaining your body's engine, your heart, as you get older. The science is still evolving, and we're all waiting for those large-scale human trials. But for now, getting enough taurine through your diet, or, if appropriate, supplementation, seems to be a smart, science-backed strategy for supporting a healthier heart. Thanks for joining me. Let me know in the comments if you have ever tried taurine or what you think about this research. And until next time, stay curious. This information is for educational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for professional medical advice. So please talk with a healthcare professional before you make any changes to your diet or supplement routine.